think that switches it. I'm on a different setting now, so now I can't even be totally for sure. Let's see. No, that's still front. This is the scene. All right. So you've got me, hey, and I got the microphone hooked up, and the microphone's just beyond where you can see it in both scenes, and it should be catching my voice better. And so I think I've got the other one shut off too, because there's a lot to learn, you guys. It's really a challenge. So, and I'm just being open and honest. I don't pretend to know what I'm doing. I'm just winging it and hoping for the best. And here we go. So we're going to start, we're going to keep going on peace. We're going to try to stay into our present moment and stay here in the now and finish the piece that we're creating. I'll give you the scene from, there we go. I want to not be in studio mode. There we go. Now I can see it better. So I can see it and you guys can see it. So what I'm going to do here is I want to emphasize the spiral just a little bit more. Sneak the glasses back on so I can see what I'm doing better. And no, I can't see it perfectly, but I don't feel as though I have the steadiest hand in the world. I don't paint enough. It's true. If I could only paint. But as I was saying in the first video that got completely cut off, I am trying to master the live video because I don't have time to edit a bunch of video stuff through the summer. I plant my own garden and I can my own food because I believe that that is far superior and that there is a magic in the food that you grow yourself. Food is my love language, and I absolutely delight in being able to create food for myself and for those I love straight from the garden. So I grow peppers and tomatoes, and then I harvest those things and I can them. All things I learned on YouTube. But that feels very important to me. Being able to feed myself so that I am not consuming the toxins that are in the foods that are allowed in our food supply is very important. And I think everyone should be well aware that we are being poisoned. And the FDA allows such a thing because they take bribes, basically, to allow it. The corporations write things into our policies that allow them to continue to do that to us. Now you can see I've got kind of a mess going here. I got too much blue on my brush. And how am I possibly going to fix this? I guess we'll just see what's going to come of it. Hopefully I won't have to scrap the whole thing because I kind of like the suitcase idea for my art stuff. This suitcase is big enough to hold the paper that I have to take. And the box that I've got won't also hold all the paper and the watercolor pencils and the paper towels that I have to provide because people need to be able to wash their brush out, you know. So I think this is working so far. I really like it. Oh yeah, that's gonna work. Get my brush wet and then smooth this into the other blue that's already a little drier on there. All the time I'm thinking about my brush stroke and how this is the Fibonacci spiral. The Fibonacci spiral is how things in nature grow, and it's fascinating to learn about. I highly recommend doing a little deep dive on the Fibonacci spiral. Sacred geometry. This is the signature of that unifying energy that I've been speaking of. That energy that comes and touches everything just enough that we can have a hint of what's going on. Oh, I'm getting the spiral effect I was after, you guys. So if you watched, I put down that background color, and now I'm just coming in with a little bit of the iridescent and some of this. It's a phthalo blue, and we'll see. Just want it all to look like it's whirling from nothing into something. This symbol just represents so many possibilities. Do you realize that this is where the artist could take over the world? I'd like to see this in every art fair across the world, that patrons go into their favorite artists and they say, I'd like to buy peace. I'd like to see your version of peace. Are you making peace? That's what I'd like to see happen. I'd like to see this be a symbol that is sought out by artists, from artists, not purchased off the internet. I don't want to see anybody purchasing this that's been printed in China and shipped across the country, shipped across the ocean rather, shipped across the country, creating plastic and cardboard and all kinds of stuff. Can we create something that's pure and good in this country? Can we make something go viral because it stands for something good? Only time will tell if we are able to do such a thing. Oops, that's a little dark. Don't want that. See, I was farting around and stuff. I shouldn't even be in the green, but I got blue on that. On that leaf over here, so I had to get after it a little bit. There's my paper towel way over there. So you can see I've only got a few colors here. This is a rust I haven't even hardly used yet. Oops, contaminated my brush. You don't need a lot of paint to create peace. I'm thinking about if this was a spiral, what direction would the brush strokes be going as this is creating the earth? You know, this is the thought of what the thought would look like, I guess, in my mind. And again, what did get cut off earlier, here, I will show you all. This, let me give you this. Hey, it's me. I'm the one painting. This is the symbol. This symbol means peace. This is from Billy Meyer's website. Now, like I said before, I'm not exactly sure about Billy Meyer. I'm not going to pass judgment on Billy Meyer's experience or the things that have happened to him. What I do know about Billy Meyer is that he and his followers are dedicated to lengthy meditations for world peace. They speak at length about how important it is, and I was so moved when I saw the symbol for peace that I had to make it. And it was a blast, you guys. My mind just went, whoa. And I started thinking about all kinds of ways that I could make peace and get people creating peace using my superpower of getting people to do art with me. And that's where this project came from. My desire to get people to do art with me because I know it makes you feel better. And I know that this works for everyone. I've done it prior to COVID. I was creating art with the elderly in nursing homes. And that's where Ageless Art was born. I was hoping to create a nonprofit that would support other artists so that we could go in and create peace. Not create peace. Create art with the elderly in nursing homes. But obviously, the pandemic completely wiped me out. And the business that was supporting me, my main sponsor, sold shortly after the pandemic was lifting. As the pandemic was lifting and the restrictions were getting looser. And that changed everything. It just shifted all of it into a different realm of possibilities. And quite honestly, I found a great deal of happiness just being home, just being at home in my environment. We shifted what we were doing to make money here, and it's all in perfect alignment now. But that experience in my life was beautiful. I miss the elderly and the fun that I would have at the nursing home. But being on the road to 22 different nursing homes in a month, and some of those were both skilled and assisted care or dementia patients. I did a couple different places that were purely dementia patients. The difference that art makes in these people's lives is tremendous, and we need more of that, and I hope that we can get back to supporting that. This should be a government program. It should not be run by a nonprofit. We are all aging, and we could all use a little more brain power. And art is one way that you increase the synaptic function of your brain. It's proven. It's not just something I'm making up because I want to sell you the idea of doing art. These are facts, people. Your brain is better with art and less toxins in your food supply and alcohol in your belly. Lots of things will make you a better version of yourself. And you should seek out those things because the future is going to demand you to be at your best. And I think we've been kind of lazy about worrying about if we were at our best or not. That's not been the focus of any media outlet. Oh, I got a fly. I think we've been bamboozled, quite honestly, as a society, as a world population of humanity. I think we've been lied to. Huge. And I think the time for reckoning is coming. And this is why I believe a project like this actually has a chance, because if we find out that we are actually in charge of our existence with the thoughts that we think, then we have a chance to get on board and change how we think and the world with it. Because your thoughts really do make a difference. Well, that's kind of fun, isn't it? I hope you're enjoying watching. Because I'm enjoying painting. Ooh, I just made a bump right there. I hate that when I do that. But I have to go back and try to fix it now. I'm going to rest my finger here somewhere that doesn't have paint on it. There. All better. If there's any professional YouTubers out there, I would love to know if there's a way that I can add my voice back in to... I didn't record it, so I'd have to record over the parts that are silent in part number 1 and part 2. So if anybody knows of a trick that I could do for that, I would love for you to let me know. Leave a comment. Hey, leave a comment anyway. Presence. Are we going to try to go back to presence? You know, we've lived a lifetime of having distraction of every sort in our experience. So we can't be too hard on ourselves when we recognize that we aren't in the present moment. I always thought it was kind of funny. I would attend a guided meditation, and this beautiful human that ran it would say things like, if you come out of the meditation and you recognize that you're in your thoughts, gently guide your mind back into the meditation. Gentle isn't my way, so I would go, what the hell are you doing, Zini? Get back in the meditation. I don't know. It seems to work for me. I think you can talk to yourself in a pretty stern way if you know in your heart what that means. But I also think that we talk to ourselves in ways that aren't kind at all. We look in the mirror and you go, oh my God, you've become a fat, ugh, yuck. How could anybody like you? What's wrong with you? How come you're not smarter? What are you doing? Where's your drive? We just make up stories in our head and we berate ourselves. If we don't believe in us, who will? You gotta find yourself. You gotta find your courage within and make the changes that need to be made in your life. Because you're the one making the thoughts in your head that are fueling your future that might not make your future the best possible future it could be. And your future can't be the best possible future it can be if you aren't improving yourself a little bit every day. And I know that can be really hard for some people, but if you look at it like even doing the laundry is improving the day after the laundry. Hard to tell if this one is that much lighter, if this one's just light because it's wet. So let's see if we can get that to dry a little bit. Maybe we'll add a little swirly swirl there. Got a little bit of blues up in here that maybe need to blend in a little bit, it looks like. So that's what we will do. You do have to give yourself grace. You can't beat yourself up because none of us knew any better. The story that we have had going in this society has been one of domination for religious zealots, although it didn't seem like zealousness at the time. Yes, it did. It did. I'm not going to lie. It seemed like we were a little bit crazy out there doing the things that we were doing for this faith. But, you know, you're born into a thing. And if you are born into it and you are raised in a thing from age 7 on, that's your programming. After age 7, you've started to make your own thoughts, and they're all based on the programming that you've had. So if you've lived in a situation that maybe you didn't receive the love that you should have, you've been abused in some way, horrible things have happened to the children of this world. Absolutely horrible. At some point you have to take responsibility for those things and just do your best to not pass along the traits that you adopted. You got to talk to people, talk to therapists if you've got things on your heart that just make it so that you can't move on. Find help. Talk to people. Talk to people who can help you, but don't make that your story. Don't make your story the one of the victim, because we've all been lied to, if you ask me. We've all lived in a version of society that has not supported us very well. And some people, yes, have had horrendous things happen to them. And we can't go back and change the past. We can't. It's a memory now. You decide how much bandwidth that memory is going to take over in your life. And I can tell you this. If you need to tell your story to every single person that you meet, you're not over it yet. You need to work on getting over your story and change your story into one that has a positive outcome. The one where you're not the victim anymore. You're the superhero. You got over it. You made it past the hurdle. And I believe that art can help you with that if you're struggling. I'm painting this upside down, and I can tell you it's not that easy. Got to remember which side I want the shadow to fall on. So have you seen that I've taken, as I've been going, I let one color dry before I try to go in and add a highlight or a low light. Like here, I'm adding the lows. And I'm going to add it to the tree too. And then we'll get on the fountain, which ought to be really fun and challenging. Probably make that part 4. I wish I had a bulletproof method for telling you how to get past your own thoughts. But the truth of the matter is, every single person has a unique experience in this life. And every single person needs to find the therapy that works for them. And while I don't think that you necessarily need to do art and create peace on repeat, if it's not your thing, I do believe that creating more art on repeat will help you feel better. But you could also do woodworking, skiing, dance, singing, go to the opera. There's a lot of different therapies out there for us to experience art and the benefits of art. Find the one that's right for you. Just do some work at it. Just give it a little of your time. I think the painting begins to talk to you, and that's the fun part. You start seeing a pattern that you want to incorporate, kind of thinking that these are eyeballs. The all-seeing eye. Sure hope the volume is working. I think that'll dry. Then give me the look I'm after. I'm hoping. I could maybe go one more row, one more brush stroke each on these leaves. Just not thinking it needs it though. Some of them need a little more gold, maybe. There we go. I think some music got turned on in my background, so I apologize for that. Or got turned up. See, I'm just being really light here. And again, I'm not trying to show you how to do it. I'm just having fun, really. And let you watch. Because I know that the first 100 videos are probably going to be not worth watching. And I hopefully will get better at it so that people will want to watch and will want to create peace, because it's so important. You guys, this is huge. All right, so stay tuned.